Bit of a mess in here. Welcome back to the Forensics Unplugged channel. I'm really stinking and sweating. It's a very hot day. I just want to give you an update on what's going on with the car. Quite a lot's happened. You know, been working on quite a lot. Some of it you might have seen. I don't know what videos I've dropped. I'll just quickly start with the interior, guys. So it's all stripped out. You might have seen the wet vac video. I've just now got the new... Look at that. I love that. That is awesome. New gear knob in here. I cleaned out the steering wheel and I've put some liquid leather, which is like a filler product, just to hide where the steering wheel's worn on the right hand side. Probably need re-trimming that steering wheel, although it kind of looks half decent, doesn't it? You can just sort of feel a bit of a texture there though with it. Repainting steering wheels is never permanent, so you're better off getting the material cut off, you know, take it to a specialist steering wheel retrimmer, which I might do, or I might see if I can get another steering wheel. Headliners out of the car. Had some success in knocking out the dinks. I managed to knock out the dink completely over there. Not knock it out, pull it out where you can't see it. And this one over here somewhere, it's better. It's better, but it's still there. If I move along, you'll see the distortion somewhere. Is that it there? Yeah, whatever. It's still there, but I'm not sure. That might be good enough, really. I might be able to tap away it a little bit. It's kind of bugging me a little bit. I think I'll try and maybe get a proper PDR guy to finish that dent off for me. I have here the seals for the glass. I was really actually tempted as well now to get this trim here, because I think it's only about 30 or 40 pounds for this trim piece. There's nothing wrong with this except it's got paint on it. It's got a bit of texture there, but you could end up replacing everything if you're looking for that complete perfection. I'm not sure. You have to kind of set a standard, don't you? And we're setting a very high standard, but I think I'll probably leave that trim. It's okay. It's okay. What else is going on? I fixed the brake light now. I fixed the brake light. I've redone that cable. I think the ABS error, like some of you said, is being caused by this rear spoiler brake light somewhere earthing out or touching the metal or something like that, and that's what the previous owner said to me. So I think I've sealed it all. The brake light's working fine. I had to replace a few bulbs in there, which was a right pain. Tiny little bulbs they were. I've damaged the paintwork. The M badge was super glued on. So you're never gonna get the paint off, unfortunately, even with, you know, thinners or acetone. You just weren't. It was already cracked here. But I'm not too angry about that, because this bonnet, as I mentioned in the first video, it needs to be repainted anyway. So this was always going to get painted, but it's not a good feeling. Now, I mentioned this bolt here. I was going to just leave it, but it was bugging me that there was rust in there and I wanted to get it out. And someone said in the comments, be careful trying to take that bolt out, drill it out, because they can snap. What happened? It snapped. So I've got the head of the bolt out, but the root core of the bolt is still in that wing. That's going to be a real pain. What I think I've got to do is take the rest of them off, take the wing off, or continue to drill it. I've ordered some left hooker drill bits that might bite in and take that out when I start drilling on it. We'll see. I'll have to get that sorted. So that's the interior. There's more to do back here still. Talk about this does lock, guys. The little bar comes through, but it's just a bit flappy when it isn't. I'm going to try the WD-40 hack on that some of you are saying it just needs a bit of WD-40 around the little pin frame. We've got a new bonnet badge on there, which is lovely. What I've been doing today is I've fitted a new scuttle. That has been ceramic coated, and that work went really, really well. Any jobs you can do can go wrong, And that's one of the first things I actually tried to do that just all went. I've done loads of scuttles. It's relatively straightforward, but things can go wrong, especially when you're trying to take the wiper blades off, because it can require a lot of force. These come off well. They come off okay. So we have a really tidy, ridiculously tidy engine bay. So tidy. Just in really good order in here. It's just so, all the pipes are clean. It's just a very good, orderly engine bay. It's one of the best things about the car. We've got the headliner here. I've scrubbed all the paint off of the headliner, the glue, the perish glue. There's the previous headliner, but it's covered in this sticky foam. I was hoping I would be able to just scrape all that foam off and then re-glue it, but you can't do it. Fortunately, all the foam perishes and goes like cake, and it impregnates itself into the fabric. I'm in contact with a company, I can't remember what they're called, it's really, really helpful. They're sending me a couple of samples down. They're up in, where are they based? Slough, somewhere like that, I think. Can't remember what they were called, but very helpful company that manufacture or source all these different headlinings and supply them to all the companies around, you know, that do the headlining retrimming, and it's relatively cheap. I spoke to BMW to get a new headliner tub like that with the Alcantara, sorry, not Alcantara, with the, what's it called? What's the colour called where it's grey? Anthracite headlining in this nylon thing, all done already. Just stick it in. It's about 800 quid, because I have to make them to order. To go and buy the fabric is about less than 40 quid, and then stick it in with this stuff. But of course, you've got the risk of doing a shoddy job when you do it all yourself, so you've just got to be careful. Got new door window seals here. I'm going to do those now. These are perished, and that would bug me. So this obviously has to come out somehow. That was going to be an interesting job. The door cards on the car are out, so now is the time. Now is the time to do that job. What else is going on? So we've got issues at the back of the car, haven't we? Those issues are slightly frustrating. It's generally going okay. These cars are good to work on. Really interested when I did the video, you know, the initial video, like the money pit video. So many people know about these cars and have walked the same tightrope that I'm walking. So there's so many great advice, you know, people telling you about little things like these in white, that's how it should be. Things like that are what I wanted to know, because I want it to be kind of close to OEM. These, lots of you are saying these are not standard, these are M3, but then you get other people that really know the car. You can spec them. You could spec them apparently. So lots of them have it on there, and lots that didn't put aftermarket ones on. So what that means is that it's not out of touch, or it's not out of character on the car to have these. So that's good enough for me. The one thing I'm worried about is there's so much oxidisation under this paint. Can that really, is that worth trying to save that? I'll just take them off and take them down the body shop and see what they say. Everything seems to cost more than it used to now at the paint shops, to the point where it's almost better looking for other parts than it is to get things refinished, which isn't the way it should be, but it's the time and effort, and I think good body shop is always in demand, isn't it? And they're not cheap nowadays, so that's it really. Ram from Colour Lock is coming down tomorrow to save me and get this project ticking along again, going in the right direction. These door cards, we had to re-glue these rails in because they weren't. It's a weak point when you pop them off. That 3M90 contact adhesive is superb stuff. When it says high strength, it's proper high strength. So the back seat under there as well. We are going to be refinishing these leather seats. Look at all that thick paint coming off now after many years. Look at the difference between the driver's seat and the passenger seat. So yeah, contact is the main enemy of leather. Talking to one of you, you suggested packing this out with coconut oil, or other people say Vaseline, anything like that really, isn't it? It's a case of packing it out with something which a drying oil might even be better, but I was going to use Montan just because it's crystal clear, but I'll go with I don't have any Montan oil, so I'm going to go with coconut oil because we've got some in the fridge. I bet it works for a couple of months. You kind of keep packing it out, it'll probably get better, as long as it doesn't feel all greasy. Everything is out from the center console. All these materials, all these parts are in relatively good condition. We've got to refinish this as well because these stains will not come off. They're embedded into the paint system. So the car was in storage for like over a year. The guy wasn't using it very much. He was just sort of running it up, keeping it MOT'd, keeping it tidy. And it's these tyres that are on the car, which are brand spanking new, which were stored in the back for over a year. You know, that doesn't happen when you chuck a tyre in the back. That happens when you chuck a tyre in the back and leave it there for a long time. But it's not the end of the world because Ram's saving the day. So we were always going to have to refinish this seat. It only takes 5 minutes to get these seats out of the car, and they're relatively clean, and they'll refinish really nicely, I think. So should be good, and that way all our leather will all be refinished to the same standard. The quality, someone was saying the quality of these cars, you get haters and lovers, don't you? Someone was saying, oh, the E36 cheap crap BMW kind of quality. No, stripped out Japanese cars, I stripped out German cars. This is a German car, stripped out Fords. I've done this to a lot of cars over the years, and the quality on this car for the age I think is pretty good. The carpet and the upholstery are good. Yeah, there's some issues around rust on this car, you know, some issues around rust unfortunately, but there will be on most 22-year-old cars. You know, this is a car that was designed in the 90s, wasn't it? 1990, 91, something like that. So it's a 30-year-old design. But the overall quality, like I say, the upholstery and stuff like that, all of the instrument panel is amazing. Much better instrument panel with buttons than the E46, where all that rubberized stuff starts failing and like literally scratching off the surface. The headlining, it's such a shame that there's an issue with the headlining because it's a fiddly job to sort that is. Yeah, that's just something, that foam back stuff is no good. Apart from that, the condition of this car is pretty good, and it's not been, apart from the suspension, okay, I think it's got decent suspension in there, adjustable. Apart from that, the car hasn't been altered too much. You know, most of them that you see come up for sale have got like race seats in them and, you know, like racing steering wheels and stuff like that, and you can just tell that they've been torn around in. Well, this hasn't. This hasn't been torn around in, but the flip side, it hasn't been used enough, and the jobs that needed to be done haven't all been done. So the car's kind of stood still in time, whereas it needs to be constantly maintained. And what I'm doing now is playing catch up. When we've done these seals, here and we've got the rust sorted out, and I go through and get my little tool out and start polishing away on it, I can get this paintwork looking really nice. And generally, when I'm finished, this is going to be a really lovely car. I think these alloys are growing on me. Once I get this lifted up, love the lines of this car. And when this car is all done, the interior is going to be nice, the exterior is going to be nice, it's going to be close to an OEM spec apart from the suspension and the alloys, and it's going to be a car that I'm going to enjoy. And hopefully, I think it might be a car, it's certainly going to be a car that's not worth selling. I say that a lot, but I don't think it'll be worth selling this car because you get an attachment to it. And if I wanted to sell it, I would only be able to get maybe 1,000 or 2,000 more than I paid for it at most. And that wouldn't cover the cost that I'm going to be putting into this car to get it where I want to be. Just to sort out the paintwork on this car is going to be about £1,000 at least, you know. Someone, I can't remember your name, was giving me some advice about this rear boot, saying just get another one, look for another one. And I thought, what? Why would I look for another one? And he's right. If you've got rust in there, literally, unless you cut it all out, it's going to come back, isn't it? It's going to come back. So, like, would it be cheaper to get another boot and try and grind all this rust out? I don't know, actually. Don't know. Apparently, the water sits in this bit. Strange, because it doesn't look like the water sits there. It must run down. It must run down and just sort of collect there in that little bit. You know, I'll take the advice of the body shop. I'll speak to the body shop and see what they say. And obviously, the one thing that I haven't factored in yet is all the mechanicals. It's booked in to go up on the ramps at a friend's garage. You're saying about the vibration noise being the heat shield. It sounds like something like that rattling. It's a kind of like rattling resonance that goes away when you drive it. Apart from that, everything seems okay. Yeah. So we shall wait and see. I'm really happy with it. I love the car. Just like I say, it's about the attachment you get. I could have gone and bought a new car, something similar to the M140, you know, like M240 is something I've been thinking about. But you just don't get that emotional attachment. And everything's done and everything's ready to go, but which is nice for some people. But for me, with the detailing channel, you know, I enjoy working on the cars. I get the attachment. I get to learn about the car. And I think that's just more interesting to me. And I love these cars. I think the styling, I love the styling. I love this little back section on there. This little section here, and when you get the right angle on it, is awesome. The front of these cars, it's just really, really nice. I'm getting a bit addicted to the E36, which is what it's all about. So thanks for watching, guys. Today, so far, is going to be a good day. In the words of Ice Cube. And next is these rubber seals, and I'll check the list and start crossing off all the jobs that I've done. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you soon.